need your help, man. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and joined our community. Do it now. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode. You'll be the first to hear our latest stories and strategies.
Plus, subscribing helps us grow and reach more people just like you. It's a win-win. Your support means the world to us, and it motivates us to keep leveling up our game.
Don't forget, hit the notification bell too, all right? You're always going to be in the loop with the new episodes drop. We release new content every Thursday at noon Eastern.
So what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button now, and let's continue this journey together.
Thanks for all your support, everyone. We can't wait to see where this journey takes us next.
Until next time.
Peace.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Level Up with Larry and Leo, where we turn challenges into opportunities and dreams into reality. I'm Larry, and this is the co-host, Leo, and we got a great show lined up for everybody today. Leo, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. It's another day on this side of eternity, man. I'm just loving it. I want to give a big shout out to all our audience, everybody that's been supporting us from day one. This is the slow climb. You're on a journey with us. So
Absolutely. We're going to mix it up a little bit today from our normal format. We figure the best leadership and just level up content comes from real life scenarios. So what we've been doing is we've been looking on Reddit and finding things that people are sharing and that we feel like would be beneficial to our audience. And we want to share some of that, give our perspective. If we were sitting in front of that person who shared that post, what we would tell them to level up, we think it's going to add a lot of value. And we want to hear from you in the comments and just give us your scenario, some of your story, and maybe we will share your story on an upcoming episode. So we're really excited about this sort of twist that we're doing to our podcast. We're looking to see how we can provide the most value in a short amount of time. Not to mention, we got some really, really dope interviews coming up that we're going to share with you all that is just going to really add value. We've already recorded one. We got some lined up for later in the week. And listen, man, we're all just leveling up. We're going to keep on finding out what's going to resonate with our audience. And it's like Leo said, just that slow grind that gets us to the top. But before we do, we are going to recognize our sponsors, the companies that allow us to do this. Next Level Media Marketing, that is the agency that I lead that helps organizations to take their marketing to the next level. And then also Curb and Key Realty, the brokerage that Leo runs and operates. And these are the companies that allow us to do this and to be able to host this podcast. So we're really excited. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And we're going to get started. I got another one. Let's hop into this. The title is 28 years old. Am I too late to start? I'm 28. I love traveling. And after having traveled to many countries, I have been thinking to start my own travel company. But I'm scared. I'm very scared, rather. I don't know if it's the uncertainty or the fact I will no longer have a stable paycheck. Sometimes I feel maybe I'm too late. His English is horrible. I'm just letting you guys know. And maybe I should focus on what I'm doing at the moment. I know that I will get clients since I'm active on social media and have quite a decent following. But what if I don't? What if I fail? Maybe I'm scared of failure. I don't have many people to talk to about this since no one from my family or friends are into business. I hate my current job, and the management in the company I work is an absolute nightmare. I work as an HR, and I hate that I can't change a thing even when I know it's something's unfair and wrong. And for those who have started, what made you start? Were you scared of failure? How is your business performing now? Are you happier than you were before? Sorry for asking too many questions and my bad English. Like I said, I have no one to ask this to. Thank you if you read this.
Whew. There's a lot there. First thing is, bro, be scared and do it anyways. bro, everything that you want in life is on the other side of your fear. Your significant other, when you saw them and you approached them, I guarantee you felt a little fear. Like, the fear of rejection. Even when you apply for a job that you really want, you have some fear and some hesitancy about, okay, what do I wear to the interview? What questions are they going to ask me? How should I respond to this? How should I respond? Like, whatever it is that you want that matters to you is on the other side of this gulf called fear. And you just have to do it anyways. Because what's the option of not doing it? And regret is so much more bitter than fear. And it's more bitter than failure. So do it anyways. If you fail, I guarantee you will learn something that will benefit you in whatever your next venture is. Even if it's just another 9-to-5 job. And because you've been a business, you will understand it better from a more global perspective on why things need to be done a certain way. So that's my first thing I would tell.
There are people in the comments like, 28, you're still a kid. So I want to know more context. 28, from what it sounds like, I did not hear wife or children. That to me, you have no idea how much freedom you have in not having a wife or children. Like, imagine if you knew what you know now back before you got married.
You're a dangerous man.
Before you had children. Like, the freedom to be able to go and step out on faith and do something that you think is going to make a significant difference for you and your future. And every situation is different. Like, I'm not trying to have you out here homeless or anything like that. And you're going to end up moving back in with mom. And
it happens, bro. But if you fail in your 20s, you have more time to recover. The earlier you fail, the more time you have to recover.
From what it sounds like, you're trying to go into the same industry that you're working in currently. I think he said HR. I'm not sure exactly where.
But he wants to go into travel. So here's what I don't know what business he wants to get in, but this is what I'm thinking he means by travel is when they do the group travel experiences.
Yeah.
So you're doing 4 trips to Mexico, and you have trips set up, and you're advertising and pushing out, hey, 4 group trips. This is the hotel. This is the excursions. This is what, and you get a group rate for everybody. You put your fee on top, and you charge them to come on this excursion. And because you've been to the country, you know the ins and outs, you know the places to go and to live, and all the excursions, you're able to be the guide, and you charge a fee. You bring in 10 people, 20 people, whatever that group is. That's what I'm thinking when I hear. I'm not thinking you're a travel agent answering calls and being in orbits. If that person is thinking, yeah, I'm going to make reservations for people.
You might just want to like travel and like record it on social media and get money as like a content creator. It can be.
But he said travel business. So that's why I'm thinking he wants to help other people travel, because he talked about his network of friends on social media as a group to travel with him rather than a group to watch his content. Because if you're creating content, it doesn't have to be travel content.
Why is it these extremes where you feel like you can't keep your job and do that after work?
Yeah. You could use your vacation time to do that. Like, let's say you got 2 weeks off on vacation. You could start out your business doing 2 1-week excursions for that year, right? And see how much people you can get, and see like how much money you can make over those 2 trips. If those 2 trips net you, let's say 10 grand a trip that you net from each trip, you net you 20 grand. You're like, okay, next year I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take off 1 week unpaid. I'm going to just schedule 1 week of unpaid. So I'm going to do 3 excursions, make 30 grand. Then you could say, okay, well, I'll do 6. I'll do 1 every 2 months. And
You
I mean,
can
you know what I mean? So you could slow
set your
your
website,
way
like
into it.
all of this type of business. I feel like you can do online. Like you can set your website up. You can create content when you're off work,
Yeah.
right? That builds interest or whatever. As soon as you get new business, you can even hire like from the Philippines who
Yeah.
can run it for you while you're at work. So it's not like an either or situation. It's like work your job, or if you don't like that job, there's plenty of HR positions, right?
Yeah.
Go find an HR position and then don't quit your job, keep your job, and do that after work. I heard someone say this about when they felt like I was listening to a podcast. You ever listen to the Bigger Pocket podcast? I was listening to one of their interviews, and a guy who started doing multifamily deals, and he was also like a train director or something in, I think it was Arkansas or something, like one of those like real old school type of, who's a train director would have to do long hours, right? Because he would have to go with the train. So he was in the same situation, like where he had to leave his family. He wanted to spend more time with his family, like the whole deal. And he started doing multifamily investing on the side until the money he was making from the cash flow would basically match or outpace his job with a little bit of a buffer. He said once he was done that he was still kind of afraid to like make that leap, because he was like, he liked the stability, he liked the benefits, all of those different things.
And you're getting double income.
So it was really difficult for him to make the leap. But what he said, though, I think was really valuable for, I think, both of these situations, even the one we were talking about before. When it comes to a point where your job is keeping you from making money, that's when you probably want to quit.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you get to a point where, man, I'm
You're
losing
having
money.
to turn down opportunities. Yeah.
I'm losing money by keeping this job. Then it's like, all right, it's probably time that I need to let this
Check
go.
the deuces.
So I would probably say that maybe even in the first guy's scenario, maybe we don't have to be on extremes. Find a type of business that you can do on top of what you're doing until you can build it up to a certain extent. But again, every business is different, so we don't really know.
Yeah. So that was the first part of what he said. He wants to do the travel business. Go back to the second part of that, because I know I had another point that I wanted to make.
For those of you who have started, what made you start? Were you scared of failure?
Mm-hmm.
How is your business performing now? Are you happier than you were before?
All right, I'll speak on that. Yes, it was scary. It was super scary. My business is doing well. Something wrong with me, and I think it's prevalent in a lot of entrepreneurs. Wherever you're at, the next phase, the next level is where you want to get to. And that's what I struggle with, is being happy, satisfied, content with how things are. As a 12-year-old, 15-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid, I would be elated. I would be like, whoa, oh my goodness. And of course, inflation takes place too. But the next thing that he battles after he gets over the fear of trying is getting over because you still have the fear of failure. Like,
Yeah.
and if you feel like if you're not moving forward, if you're letting grass grow under your feet, as they say, like you're gonna lose out and you're not gonna keep up with the next cutting edge and then the next pivot that needs to happen, right? And I'm sure you saw how ads pivoted from Facebook to TikTok, and it's gonna pivot again to something else that's next, right?
Yeah.
I have fear of failure now, and I've had my business since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
It's about turning that fear into fuel to push you, to wake you up, to drive you.
The fear of failure is definitely a real thing. I think it's important that you have enough self-worth where you don't equate your worth to however well your business is doing, and understanding like failure is just a part. Failure is just a part of it. Like a lot of times you fail on your way to success. Like I've experienced a failed church plant, leading a church, and I feel like a failed church plant maybe not way more, but like just as psychologically, maybe even a little more than failing a business, right? Because your identity gets wrapped up in it. But I actually heard somebody, a successful pastor, say, he's like, sometimes the best thing for a church to do is to shut down, take the L and the lessons, and maybe go start somewhere else. But you want to hold on to it because you're just wrapped up in it. And maybe that was not God. God wasn't looking for you to just keep that thing going, but just to learn the lessons for another season where you might be able to go and do it again, and with those lessons that you learned the first time. The focus should not be on the business itself, but what it's able to give you in your life. So you have to be clear on what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And as soon as the business isn't useful for you anymore, then you just get rid of it. Remember, I think you sent me that clip by Miles Monroe. It was no longer useful. Most people, they're going to try to package that thing, and they're going to sell it, and they're going to market it and all that stuff. And he was just like, all right, well, it was anointed, but it's not anointed anymore. It did its job.
Yeah.
Stop doing its job. So now I need to go on to do something else.
Move on. Yeah.
We can't be so romantically connected to these things. If I find a business that is going to perform better than the one I'm doing now, I'll go over here. I don't care. Whatever. It's all about what my goals are for life. If I find something that's going to get me to my goal faster, I'm going to go with that. I think that the success of a business is based on the skills that you have.
Yeah.
The key should be, what skills do I need to make this better? If my business isn't being successful, it's because I don't have the right skills, and I need to keep working on my skills that will allow me to be successful.
I agree that, you shouldn't have your self-worth wrapped in what you do. What you do doesn't necessarily mean who you are. Official to that business, and learn from them, how did they amass that following. So even though you failed in your own business, you learn something that'll be valuable to another business. And in that business, you could learn to fill in the gaps of the stuff that you didn't know. And you could come back and try the business again. Right? And I'm sure if the Lord will have it for you to plant another church, you will take the lessons that you learned from your first church plant and say, okay, we're not going to do this, but we're going to do this. We're going to emphasize on this. We're going to de-emphasize on that to kind of correct course and build something better.
I got a quick story on that, but I think we're only going to get to 2 stories for this episode. The church I was telling you about yesterday, Change Church, Darius Daniels, massive, massive church. He's based out of New Jersey. And a couple years ago, he planted a church in Orlando when he was doing his meet and greet after one of the and I say flop. It didn't I don't think it flop, but it definitely didn't give. It's not what he's doing today.
Is it still functioning today? Is that church?
I don't know.
Or still
after a meet and greet, somebody was talking with a lady, flew in from Atlanta, and she met with him, and she was like, man, you really should come to Atlanta. And he's thinking in his head, he's like, man, Atlanta got all these churches already. Why would I go to Atlanta? Like there's all these different churches going on.
All these big pastors.
And he was like, and at the time, his social media presence was blowing up. So a lot of people, I remember I first came across him during the pandemic. Somebody shared a video from him, and I was like, he's really good. He's preached at all the major churches, all the major conferences. Like, he's really well known. He was like, Atlanta. So he's like, you know what? We're going to test it. I think he came across somebody else who said the same thing to him. He was like, we're going to test it. We're going to do like a quick pop-up. We're not going to advertise it much. We're just going to let people know we're going to pull up. And he does a pop-up service on a Sunday night. Line wrapped around the building.
Wow.
He was like, whoa. Like, we barely even advertised this. But he had a specific, like he has a very specific type of ministry that people were like hungry for in the area. I have to plant here. So I think he planted here 18 months ago. Bro was he's got about 1,500 seats. He's already got a new campus he's launching on another side of town that's bigger than the one that he's at now. 1,500 capacity, maxing out 4 services. are coming, and it's hard to get in. It's like a club.
Church
It's
club.
hard. It's like a club, bro. Like it's hard to get in there. Like it is not like you gotta want to go, and it's packed.
What is it? Is it far from city center?
Yeah, it's north of the city, so it's probably like 30, 40 minutes from the city. But people come from all over.
Yeah.
Like people drive. I mean, we were there yesterday. We saw people there from North Carolina. People come from Alabama.
Okay.
Like people be pulling up. It goes to show you that if he would have thought, "Oh man, I'm a failure because of the Orlando thing," he didn't realize there was an opportunity somewhere. You know, some of us would have said, "No, God called me to Orlando." Orlando? Oh, ah. I'm not gonna say I miss God, but hey, this was just for a short season. And there was somewhere else. And I think we too have to stop being so rigid. We got to realize when we're just wasting our time. Or when something that we're doing, I mean, we tried.
Yeah.
That's all. I tried. It didn't work out. Let's not go crazy over it because God has another opportunity somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the more time you're wasting on something that's not bearing fruit, you're missing an opportunity that could be somewhere else. So
I know that we're both from the church space, man. Sometimes people will fail or will be stubborn. I won't say fail. Will be stubborn in an effort to be right instead of pivoting. And it's possible that God had them there for a season to reach a particular person or persons or, and now it's shifted.
we don't know where Paul's church is because it doesn't exist anymore. It only lasted then.
Yeah.
Peter's church ain't here.
Yeah.
Their church isn't here. Like it was just for, listen, everyone, I'm going to stop and say this. This has been the most ghetto podcast in the history of podcasts. Everything that could go wrong.
I usually have my phone on Do Not Disturb. And if you're in the real estate industry, you know you're getting a bunch of
my light went out. The sun started shining. Baby crying. Everything that could go wrong today. And I am not going to edit half
none of it. We'll do it live.
Hey, it's just been a ghetto time, man. It's just been a ghetto time.
Yeah,
but it's good,
it's
though.
reality. But it was a good time.
And watch, this is gonna be our biggest. Watch this end up being the most viewed episode.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, man. Let's take them out.
Hey, if you got any value from today's content, please subscribe. Let us know what your thoughts were on some of these scenarios. A lot of people, I believe, have these similar mindsets, whether you're 34 with a family or 28 with no family and wanting to jump out and do something great, wanting to level up your life. Let us know what your thoughts are on what you thought our takes were. If we missed anything, if you have any different takes on it, please let us know.
We'll get in the comments and debate now. Don't put it past us. Let us know how you feel.
Like the video, subscribe. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline that's going to be add a lot of value, and you want to be aware of whenever we're dropping something. But beyond that, man, keep leveling up in everything that you're doing, and
peace.
You see how sweet this is?
But you know what's really sweet?
You subscribing.
Subscribe now.
Peace.